Hello, this is Tara Maginnis, and this is Theatrical Makeup Design Interactive. Today, we're doing animal makeup. Animal makeup you sometimes need to do for children's theater, but most often I regard this as mainly an exercise in using the skills that you have been learning for doing character makeup of how to go and alter the shape of your features to match that of a person with a different skull shape than yourself. Now, the reason that animal makeup is really useful as a practice for this is animals have completely different skull shapes. So, when you're going to go and do an animal makeup, you're going to be trying to give the impression that you have a radically different skull shape. Plus, usually you'll also be putting on the markings of whatever fur or feathers that particular animal has. Now, the best ones to do for this exercise are flat-faced animals, ones that don't have that much of a long snout. You can do ones like dogs and so on that have long snouts, but since you're primarily doing this for practice, if you're trying to simply learn how to move those features about, and you want to pick something that is much more difficult than simply doing human alterations on your face, but not so difficult that you are really having trouble making the change, starting with an idea for a flat-faced animal is good. Flat-faced animals include cats, pug dogs, lemurs, tarsiers, apes, monkeys. Pretty much those are the most popular ones to go and do because they all have a little bit less long of a snout than most other animals. And the apes and monkeys are, actually related to us, so the differences are relatively small. It is, however, much bigger of a change than you'd be doing if you were doing simply another sort of person. So it's kind of like doing push-ups in makeup. You're doing this as an exercise to practice moving those bones about, and yet not moving them about so much that you're simply painting a design of this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a whatever on your face, and having it that the moment you try and move your face, it won't move in the right way. You need to somehow make the mouth coincide with your mouth. You somehow need to make your eyes coincide with the eyes. And you have to go and account for or hide whatever you're doing for your nose. So if you want to go and do this makeup, you're going to have to figure out how your face can be adapted to look more like these alternate skull-shaped animals without going and moving things so radically that, yes, we have a perfectly shaped and proportioned eye, but it happens to be in the middle of the forehead. Or, yes, the mouth on this kind of animal is at the very end of their face, so I'm going to put the mouth here. Of course, there's going to be this little problem of the fact that the mouth that I'm talking with is going to be up here. So you want to go and use this mainly as an exercise. It is, however, also useful if you're doing different kinds of children's theater and other sorts of non-realistic theater that have humans playing animals. Now, another skill that it goes and gives you practice at is going and laying out a makeup plan that doesn't involve putting down a base and putting on simply highlight and shadow, but where you have to go and plan by doing a rendering ahead of time where sections of color are going to be on your face. This is the sort of thing you end up having to do for clown makeup and a lot of other not so realistic styles of makeup. So, for instance, for this Shoelace the Cat makeup, I'm going to go and do a set of outlines on my face to go and use as guides for a kind of color by number thing that it's going to happen on my face. Now, what I'm doing here Certain makeups, you can go and put down a base first if the animal has predominantly one color on its face and just small amounts of color by number sections. But if, like Shoelace the tabby, she has a lot of different colors going on all over the face, and it's going to actually be simpler if I simply put in the outlines and then fill in each of those sections with their highly contrasting colors. That way I don't get a sort of muddy thing happening on my face. So I'm putting in the outlines, and one of the things I'm wanting to do is I want to widen the nose, because cats have wider, flatter noses than humans. And a household cat has been crossbred for generations to have much larger eyes than wild varieties of cats. They've been crossbred this way by humans who think large-eyed creatures look like human babies and are cute. So, baby cats, when they were being domesticated, the ones that had the biggest eyes were considered cutest and got saved. And those that were not considered cutest did not get saved. And so, over many generations, household cats have acquired very, very big eyes. Now, what I'm doing here is I want to get large eyes. I want to, however, have them move in a way that makes use of the way my own face moves. So the shape of the eyes, I'm actually altering a little bit so that it follows the lines of the eyebrow, so that when that eyebrow is difficult to get rid of, it will conveniently be in the middle of a dark shadow anyway, won't show up. And the bottom part of the eye is at the bottom part of this bag, the section of my face that moves, so that when I want to move the eyes of the cat and make things happen, they will follow along with those muscles in my face. Other things I'm going to want to do. Now, a cat, in addition to having a flatter nose, has a rather longer nose in proportion on its face than a human. So I'm going to go and make the tip of the nose go down here. And lay that out. Cats have extremely narrow lips. In fact, on a lot of cats, you won't even see the fact that they have them, because their fur is sufficient to conceal it. But very wide ones. And in the case of Shoelace, hers went up at the corners, at least most of the time. She's a cat who smiled. And goes there. Another thing that's different is cats, almost as soon as they have their mouth, just below that, just a little below their lower lip, their face ends. So this chin doesn't exist on a cat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and make a mark of where Shoelace's chin would end, like here. And when it comes to putting in shadow, I'm going to put in a lot of shadow under that area so that visually from a distance, this chin will recede in apparent, it won't seem to be sticking out so much. It'll sort of go in. Now, there's also a section up here, and here, The thing that will make an animal costume work, of course, is to not just have the cool makeup, but how you go and build the rest of it. And bearing in mind that you aren't dealing with realism when you're dealing with animal makeup, you're usually not trying to have something that looks so much like a cat, since humans don't, and very little cat stuff can be made to do so. So you're wanting something that's a stylized version of a cat. So it may be a cat in a tailcoat, or a cat in a top hat, or the cat in the hat. This is, however, mainly done as an exercise in going and moving your features around. And I will give some visual examples of how this works by going and moving the edge of the eye up here, but keeping it in line with my eyebrows now. Anything I do with my eyebrows or scrunching up my eyes because of the line underneath there, because I've put them to coincide with lines that actually exist on my face, they become more mobile and I can express with them even though I've got this ton of paint on my face. Same thing with putting the nose. I've lowered it down, but I've still put the nostrils in where my nostrils are. And sure enough, this means I can go and do that sort of thing. Same thing with the mouth. Yes, a cat's mouth is closer to the bottom of the chin, but if you paint the cat's mouth here and simply do the line that goes between the nose and mouth to there, then the moment you open your mouth, you have a mouth painted down here and a mouth going here, as compared to, hi! Are you going to let me go out? Huh? 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 I know that sounds more dog-like, but that's definitely how the cat thought. Bird, bird, bird. Actually, they make little noises like, which I believe in cat means small bird would taste good for lunch. As you can see, they're predators. They have eyes on the front of your face. Almost all of the animals that you're going to want to go and do will be flat-faced animals with eyes on the front of their face, so you are talking about ones that are usually predators. One of the fun things is, inevitably when people do this as practice in class, they'll go and decide that they want to do a wolf. It's because, wolves are kind of cool and so on. They have this nice long snout, except we don't. So how do you make the snout work? You can get it to work. It's much, much more difficult. This is basically just trying to get you to do your push-ups for moving those features, and remembering that if you can go and make portions of those features follow in with your own features, you amplify your expression instead of dampening it down using this sort of thing. This also shows what I was saying about the tabby cat markings are something that really give a major ability to amplify expression. And tabby cat markings are very close to what you have for kabuki makeup and a lot of other stylized makeups that exist, like clown makeup and Chinese opera makeup. They have a lot of the same features. And the reason that those stylized makeups exist is because they do the same thing that having tabby markings does for cats in the wild, where they're needing to go and express their intentions from a safe distance to one another. So.